Radio Solent.
20 to 9 on Sunday morning, and a very warm welcome to BBC Radio Solent. A year ago, a group to support people from and in Ukraine was formed in Southampton, and its founder and her husband join me in the studio. It's a very warm welcome to Sam and Melanie Tajaralu from Southampton Helps Ukraine. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you here. Now, Mel, let's start with you. Take us back to February 2022. What was it that inspired you to start all of this?
Okay, so we was actually in Krakow in February when the war against Ukraine started with Russia, and when, you know, it was quite a shock the day after we flew home. It was quite a hard time, actually. I'll go back to when we was in Poland, in Krakow. The Polish taxi driver, for example, was saying, "Oh, did you hear what happened? Russia's breached Ukraine." And we were worried ourselves about Russia taking Ukraine, then taking Poland, etc., etc. So when we flew home to Southampton, I work with a couple of Polish ladies, and they said to me, "Oh, Melanie, we're doing a donation drive for Ukraine. Would you like to come and help donate some bits?" That on the 26th of February, we went to the Polish club in Southampton, and that's when the humanitarian aid started up until May. And we were at Toys R Us, and that, off the back of that, the Southampton Community Sport Group was formed for Ukrainians arriving in the city and for Ukrainians that live here, in the hope that they have sanctuary, a community to come to when they arrive, but also to have a permanent community in Southampton for the families that already live here as well.
And Sam, when Mel came home and said, I'm getting involved in this now, did you see where this was going? Was there ever a moment where you could say, "Look, love, we've got enough on, like, just do your bit and that's it"? Because this is a massive thing now, isn't it? Was there a point to say, "Oh, just donate and let someone else do it"?
No, I think it was bizarre, and we've often joked about this. So we were both in Scouts for 25 years as Scout leaders, and it was only a couple of months beforehand we decided to give Scouting up and give up volunteering. We've done our bit, let's relax. And then it was ironic, this came along, and I think once you volunteer and once you decide to do something for people and give a bit back, it's just in your blood, so it just seemed normal to do.
Well, hats off to you both, because I know that what started as a donations drive has now turned into this real network where people maybe get a bit of a sense of home as well, Mel. They get to form friendships and still have that connection with home.
It's true. I mean, this year for us in particular, as we're a community group, people just say, "Oh, it's a community group," but we live and breathe the weekly meetings with the families that actually become our friends. We hear their stories. We see and hear things that you wouldn't normally in our everyday lives experience or see. I mean, to be honest with you, if you asked me a year ago, would you be making cargo nets, for example, for tanks? You'd be thinking, what's that all about? So we've had quite a bittersweet year, I think is the correct word. We've had the pleasure of meeting some amazing Ukrainians that have become very good friends of ours, but also the pain that we see that they suffer and hear and feel day in, day out. But without all my volunteers in the group, we just wouldn't be the team we are. We have an absolutely amazing team of volunteers that support and have so much love and care that without them it wouldn't have been doable. And it continues to go. And when the day comes that we all step back and allow the Ukrainians to run their group that live here, then that's going to be pretty sad for us. And I'm sure we'll still keep there in the background visiting and and I know that's not for a while because we're trying to build their social club, but equally, there's I
don't think they'll let you go, Melanie. I don't think they're going to let you go. What does it mean to you when people say, for instance, the landlord of the pub who offered you their room right back at the beginning as a meeting place, or the people who offer you support at their venue or with something practical or something financial? What does it mean to you when people come to you and go, "I've heard you're doing this, would this help?" What does that mean to you?
It's really humbling. I mean, we didn't expect. We thought we would have to go out with a bit of a begging bowl, but we've been inundated with people that want to come and help. We've got some events coming up. So we've got the Eurovision party in May to celebrate, because obviously Ukraine can't hold that party this year. So we're doing that, and we've just been inundated with raffle prizes from people who've contacted us and said, companies from all across Hampshire who want to donate. We're sort of inundated now with prizes. We've got the party in the park in June for People's Pride. They've come up and said, look, we'll give you all of the gazebos for free. You don't need to pay. And again, we've got local companies coming to us asking how they can support. The Mayflower have approached us and said, look, we've got the Kyiv ballet coming up. We'd like to give you some tickets for that, so the families can come along and just sort of reminisce a bit about back home.
I'm so glad you just
really
said
humbling.
that, because I drove past the Mayflower just the other day and saw the poster and thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if people who are here from Ukraine could get that sense of home. I'm so glad that that's happened. Like you say, really humbling.
It is nice. I mean, we've had people that supported us is unbelievable. I mean, we have the big difference. For example, Sanjay, every week without fail, he will send food donations, not just for like refreshments on the evening, but for people to take food home. So there's no pressure on the host families as well with food. He's been absolutely awesome. We've had the Rotary Magna, for example, James LePage. Again, every time we've asked him for a little bit of help, he's gone off and said, OK, I'll see what I can do. Normally he delivers it, which is really amazing. The council, the Lord Mayor, the events team and the mayor and the communities team in Southampton in particular, and Homes for Ukraine lady, Debbie, that she's at the council, they've been amazing now supporting us. So recently we've had a lot more support than we did in the beginning. It's took a whole lot of years, hundreds of emails and messages, unbelievable calls and what have you, to get where we are today. And we have got quite a well connected and strong community with I've got a lot of links. Sam and I manage and run the group overall, but my team of volunteers each week on the Tuesday are a big thing and a big part of that. And we do the background stuff, which, on the weekly meetings, we appreciate they can't do all of it.
Yeah.
But,
And what have you heard from people who are starting to make a home for themselves here in this country, maybe with the children, maybe having left their husbands and their brothers and their uncles behind, their sons behind? I can't even really talk about it. To be honest, the thought of it, for us, I think, to put ourselves in those shoes even for a moment is terrifying. It's terrifying.
I mean, the kids come to the group and with their mums, and when they talk about home and Ukraine and their families, it's quite heartbreaking. But then, because our group's about well-being and positivity, we don't ignore them. We just literally create good memories for them to keep that going. And sometimes they'll talk about their dads and things like that, and then other times they won't. It's more, I think it's having that headspace where if we don't talk about it all the time, then it's not upsetting. Coming to the group and talking to each other and having that sense of community and family like they would have in Ukraine means a hell of a lot to them,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, can you even believe it's a year on? Can you believe it? No,
it's flown by.
I bet it has.
I was looking this morning, we were making some notes about what we've done in the last year, and it was almost on 3 pages of A4. It was just unbelievable what we've achieved. I think what's nice now is the people that come to the group, and some of the volunteers have now gone off and set up their own groups. So we've got an allotment group, we've got a walking group which started on Saturday, so we've got some people that come along to that. We've got a Ukrainian language club that's been started by some volunteers and some guests as well. So it's sort of spun off in multiple lanes really, which is good.
And how's your Ukrainian over the course of the last year? Have you learned a bit?
I'm trying.
It's challenging, isn't it?
I put on a silly, as we call, Borat voice.
Oh,
and
no.
It's the only way I can pronounce the words correctly. But the ladies keep saying to me, Melanie, we're going to teach you Ukrainian.
Yeah.
And I think I've got about 10 words now that I've learnt. I sang 5 Christmas carols in Ukrainian. And how I did it, I don't know. I did adjust it a lot phonetically to English to make it make sense to me, but I have no idea what I was singing.
Maybe that's the answer. Just sing everything we've got to say.
It was funny, and it was just, they're like, but, you did really well. Okay, some of the pronunciations were a bit, but, we get there.
Oh.
But it's hard. It is a hard language for us to learn, so I mean, that's off to them. They're speaking English,
Yeah.
and we've got one word can mean several things. So
Yeah, it's very confusing, isn't it? And then all of the expressions, and then all of the slang, and then all of the rest of it. Very confusing indeed. I'm so happy that you're able to join us today. And as you say, it's bittersweet that this initiative even exists, but the fact that it does is really making a massive difference to so many. And I'm sure that if they were here, they would say a huge thank you to you too. So thank you for joining us.
No, thank you.
And don't be strangers, and let us know where we can find out more about you. And people might be listening thinking, well, I can help with something. It might be something brilliant. How can they get in touch?
We've got a Facebook page, which is we've got nearly 3,000 people on there now. So everything we do, we put onto Facebook. So if we have any requests or anything where we need help, we'll plug it on Facebook. So yeah,
Southampton Ukrainian Community Support Group. It is private, so if you want to join, then we see who you are, and then we let you in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Equally, we do have a web page that's in development, so you can email us or contact us via there, and we're on Twitter. So you can, if you search Southampton Ukrainian Community Support Group, you will find us on different platforms.
I'm sure lots of people will be coming to have a look. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well done for all you've done over the course of the last year. Sam and Melanie Tajaralu from the Southampton Ukrainian Community Support Group, which has been running for a year, marking its first anniversary this weekend.
I see trees that are green